I wanted to begin by giving a big hello and welcome. My name is Cameron Burnest, and my team and I are responsible for strategic partnerships and our customer experience here at TradeGecko. To give you a little bit of context of what that actually means, so this includes understanding our ever-evolving merchant needs to ensure that we're creating a platform and ecosystem that meets their demanding needs, and at the same time making sure that we're meeting the desired outcomes of merchants coming to TradeGecko. So to give you a little bit of insight into myself and a little bit of background. So I've been in the tech sector for well over 10 years and have managed global software and both cloud and on-premise solutions, as well as hardware teams. And this has been at two pretty well-known organizations. Most recently, my time has been spent leading strategic partnerships at Shopify, and prior to that, BlackBerry. So when I'm not working to help our merchants grow amazing businesses, I love to spend time with my young daughter, Avery, pictured here, as well as torture myself to a certain extent, running up and down hills, competing in obstacle course racing. Enough about me. Let's spend some time diving into today's webinar, what everyone's eagerly awaiting. So we're going to talk a little bit about digital transformation in commerce, specifically how to take advantage of it and focus on what I believe are the 5 most important growth strategies to truly transform your business. But first, I want to give a very brief introduction for those that don't know the TradeGecko story, because I think there's a lot of similarities and parallels in terms of the situation you're currently in to give you context into why we created the company and how we're helping merchants just like you. So how many of you can relate to this image? I'm not even the co-founder of our company, and this is me some days. Our co-founder and CEO, Cameron Priest, is constantly reminding myself and the team, hard things are hard. And this couldn't be more true for TradeGecko, and is really how we thought about kind of originating and developing the company. So like many of you, our co-founders ran a wholesale business, and we're looking for strategies to truly grow and scale their organization globally. Along the way, they realized they were managing business operations manually, and were taking more and more time away from focusing on their customers. As they looked for different options to free themselves from the chaos of what I like to call the spreadsheet Olympics, and getting truly frustrated from the chaos of manual data entry, they started to research ERP systems. And for those of you that don't know the acronym ERP, it stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, and allows you to help manage the increasing complexity of your operation. Unfortunately for them though, ERPs didn't truly fit the bill of what they were looking for. There wasn't enough flexibility, not nimble in terms of supporting a rapidly evolving supply chain. They required massive amounts of effort to truly set up, and implementation took years. Then compound that with the fact it was extremely cost prohibitive when looking at their total cost of ownership. It just didn't work for them. And having done an SA implementation myself during my finance days, and yes, I know what you're thinking, he's an accountant, but please don't hold that against me. I can firsthand describe the true pain and cost of working through this. Whatever we thought the cost was, take it, double, potentially triple it, and do the same for the implementation timeline. Pure pain. So this was the moment that they faced themselves with 6 years ago, and both Cameron and Bradley decided to pivot the business and build a cloud-based commerce platform that was flexible, scalable, and most importantly, easy to use. This product brought automation to operations across the supply chain for small and medium businesses, while most importantly, freeing time to do the things business owners enjoy, which are driving growth and increasing sales. Today, we serve over 17,000 users in 90 countries and are recognized as one of the leaders in the industry. Now that you know a little bit about who we are and where we came from, let's get back to focusing on where you can think strategically to digitally transform your business. But before I begin, I've got a public service announcement here. Always be wary of shortcuts. It's all about thinking for the long term and building sustainable and effective strategies that require you to invest your time over the long term to win. So let's dive into the first growth strategy, know thy customer. It's absolutely critical that you invest a good amount of time to regularly research and understand your buyers. Once again, I know you're thinking here, you're snoring a little bit. I know it sounds basic, and it is, but customers today, and I can't emphasize this enough, are more dynamic than they have ever been in how they purchase, how they discover, and how we as business owners make them loyal, repeat buyers. So if you're truly going to make a dent in the market and survive, but beyond survive, more importantly, crush your business in today's rapidly changing environment, you need to embrace and live with the mantra that knowledge is power. And I'll pause for a second here to just let that sink in. Knowledge truly is power. Merchants today are experiencing a seismic shift in the many number of sales channels and varying digital platforms. And I can't say this enough, it actually blows my mind. I work in this space every single day and can barely stay on top of this changing landscape. I can only imagine how business owners like yourself must be feeling. And then you throw in the complexity of B2B and B2C, it just exponentially grows in terms of complexity. So understanding who your customer is probably one of the most important things. And here at TradeGecko, we call this our ICP, or ideal customer profile. Who is a great customer for your product? What are their specific behaviors and what is important to them? The more you know this detail, the more efficiency you drive across the entire company. Amazing things begin to happen because you now understand your customers so in depth, your cost of acquisition drops, your cost of support drops. You develop and build a following of happy repeat customers because the norm of all this is translating to an improved bottom line for you as a business owner, which is the most important thing for your business. And to throw in a couple of stats from a Google Consumer Insight report, they found that 46% of B2B buyers were millennials. And this is 2014 data. Today, that number is well over 50% and has truly made many businesses stand up and take notice. Many merchants are being forced to adapt or potentially risk falling by the wayside as their market share slowly declines because their trusted buyers, the ones they've known for years and years and years and decades, are moving into retirement. And they struggle to attract new ones. And on the B2C side of the equation, in 2015, millennials represented 35% of all buyers, with Gen X trailing at 17%. The big takeaway here is you need to rethink the consumers you're looking at and who is buying your products and ensure that you're focusing on making that transition. So love it or hate it, it's the reality, it's the numbers behind everything, and it's time that you as a business owner actually pay attention to this. And these two images on the slide here, we all know today's millennial buyers grew up on the internet. And when I say internet, I mean these fancy MacBook Pros and iPads, not the desktop computers and dial-up modems some of us were used to in the past. I remember at my house at home, it was get off the phone, mom. So that no longer is the case. And as a business owner, you need to recognize this. And whether purchasing for B2B or B2C, these consumers are so sophisticated in terms of where they find detailed information on products, dealing with sales reps. They want to find a great deal and they're not afraid to cross-channel shop. So interestingly, many also want to support organizations that align with their personal values, even if that means they need to pay a premium for it. Take, for example, the brand Tom's Shoes. They donate a pair of shoes for every pair of shoes sold. That responsibility is unbelievable, and today's millennials definitely get behind this type of activity. So although you would probably assume this is purely related to all of our B2C purchases, the research that we've seen is that it's proving that this behavior is crossing into B2B buying behaviors as well. So if the new generation can research printers online, comparison shop, and buy without speaking to a sales rep or even leaving their phone, why shouldn't they be able to do that for the same purchases they do for their B2B business? For example, somebody wanting to buy 2,500 yoga mats, they want that same experience. People are expecting a B2B experience for B2B purchases. And this is not only relevant to the millennial generation. These buying patterns are now starting to make their way into Gen X and how the baby boomers shop as well, both as individuals and business buyers. So the key takeaways for truly knowing, understanding, and aligning with your customers are as follows. You truly need to understand who's researching and buying your products by building buyer profiles, or ICPs, as I referred to earlier, that truly break down their behaviors. You want to think very strategically about how you're building your brand and the reputation around it so that buyers can align and can truly become passionate about it. And you also need to think about digital channels, digital positioning of your product so that your buyers can learn enough about them to make a decision, pick up the phone, or type into a chat window to get more information or make the purchase. And the final piece is directly aligning with our growth strategy number 2 around the experimentation with new sales channels. So experimenting with new sales channels. How many of you purchase products on multiple channels? I'm a consumer and I shop across multiple platforms, and I'm willing to bet you probably do too. When I look back at even my purchasing behaviors over the last few weeks, I bought a new strap for my Fitbit on Amazon. I bought a new pair of shoes off of Facebook, and even bought a pair of jeans from one of my favorite brands' websites. Of these purchases, the one on Facebook for these shoes was an impulse buy solely because there was an ad that caught my attention. You need to be where your customers are, and that's critical when you're thinking about your multi-channel sales strategy. So selling on a single platform today is not only passé, but it's limiting. As we've just learned, buyers today are cross-channel shopping. Whether you want to admit it or not, or whether you're afraid to admit it, or whether you're just not sure how you actually take advantage of that, they're doing this for a number of possible reasons. They may be looking for more information on a particular product. They could be looking for different alternatives, or they may even be just looking to find the best price. Or it could be that ethical piece that they're looking to get behind and truly find a brand that aligns with how they as a person operate and feel about society. So as a merchant, making the move to supporting another sales channel like a marketplace, e-commerce store, in-person brick and mortar location, or even building out a direct-to-consumer sales team has many benefits. These benefits include truly increasing your distribution capability as well as the discoverability for new and existing customers. Brands that are present on multiple channels do often attract repeat buyers, and those repeat buyers have a higher probability of becoming loyal customers, which is exactly what you want as a business owner. And these loyal customers purchase regularly and at a higher frequency than one-offs. These are the buyers you want, and I can't emphasize that enough. The second thing is you can also protect against cross-channel erosion. So by being present on the same or more channels with your competitors, you'll actually show you that you have the scale and strategic mindset of a large and reliable organization. Think back to the importance of your brand and all the hard work you've been doing to build this further. You need to be there to take advantage of this. And the third is you'll also be able to easily research competitive positioning. Simply by being present on one or more channels, using a marketplace as an example, you'll be able to see passively or actively about what your competitors are doing. And you'll see their pricing strategy, how they're positioning either similar or in oftentimes identical products, which allow you to be more strategic with how you're thinking about your business and how you're providing value for your end customers, which is the most important thing. And the fourth piece is really being able to take advantage of internet algorithms. This is a truly powerful thing. And this goes back to the discoverability equation. So if you're present in more than one digital location, you'll have more opportunities to have your content indexed by search engines. And then this is then surfaced to buyers that we then are able to know have higher purchase intent. So now you may ask, Cameron, where do I even start this multi-channel journey? My recommendation is to focus on digital expansion as your first priority. And this is for several reasons. It's the easiest way to get going, and it also has the highest potential returns for the initial investment, your time, the inventory and product to get this up and running. So if you're into or interested in wholesale, you can consider building a B2B e-commerce channel. Like I mentioned before, merchants today expect a B2C experience for your B2B. So you can create a wholesale business here. And think about those merchants out there that can relate to this. No longer do you actually have to sit there, look at your phone, see, oh, what SMS message or WhatsApp message do I have from one of my wholesale customers today that I then need to go through the entire operational side to make that order and fulfill it for them. So that's the wholesale B2B e-commerce channel. And I'll throw in bonus points for anyone that can find a platform that integrates with your inventory and order management system as well. And the second is if you're into or interested B2C e-commerce, there are a number of platforms you can choose from with either a free or paid perspective that allow you to experiment. And then finally, there's the option of digital marketplaces, which are going to open up the ability for you to expose your brand to new buyers. Amazon typically comes to mind first, but there are plenty of other product specialized marketplaces. There's Jur for fashion and apparel, Jet for household, Lazada if you're over in parts of Southeast Asia. Many different options in terms of e-commerce, B2B e-commerce, and digital marketplaces. The next piece I always get when I start to discuss this with our clients and just other people looking to start up businesses is, okay, it sounds great, Cam, but how the heck do I actually get to manage all of the new orders coming in through all of these channels? How do I manage my entire product catalog? How do I reconcile everything with accounting and make sure I have enough inventory to meet this new demand? It may seem overwhelming, and it can be if you don't properly employ strategy 3 and 4, which I'm going to spend some time talking to you about. So let's begin with strategy 3, which is all about focusing on re-examining the foundations of how you've built your organization and thinking specifically about how do I build a strong, scalable foundation for growth. Driving a successful digital transformation strategy is only possible if you're captaining a lean ship here. Staring in the mirror is not always the easiest thing to do, but sometimes you have to ask the hard questions. So you need to take the time for you and your team to take a long, somewhat uncomfortable look in the mirror and seriously think about the processes and technology that you're using to run your business. Ask those hard questions. Am I doing the most productive work for my business? Will this help deliver long-term improvement and a step function in growth for my revenue? The reason I mention this is because I've seen many businesses not live up to the potential of success because they've been pulled into what I like to think of as some sort of operational quicksand where they just can't get out. Operations are, from what I've seen and the businesses we've worked with, often the largest headache for running any organization. Fortunately, the ability to manage and streamline them today has never been easier, and the barriers to accessing great technology and learnings has never been lower. However, the biggest barrier to success here often lies with you or your people. Change is good, but it's time to overcome the me mountain. Free your team from the spreadsheet Olympics and embrace digital transformation. This comes from the top and takes a leader that is committed to this strategy for the entire company to create that opportunity for true long-term revenue growth. And I know sometimes technology can be a little bit scary, intimidating. You maybe feel like you don't, aside from the use of your iPhone, have much technical background, and it's unknown for a lot of organizations. So there's risk aversion for a lot of people. And you may think, as the business owner, I have revenue to protect, and disrupting the status quo could hurt that revenue. But what people don't often consider is that the opposite of change, if you were to do nothing with your business and leave it as status quo, that can actually have the same or even worse consequences and will lead to an even more challenging and potentially costly reorientation down the line. It's time to consider moving your operations technology from pen and paper, Excel, Google Docs, desktop or server-based systems into the cloud. And these cloud technologies focus on commerce operations, offer a host of benefits over traditional on-premise systems. And believe me, having sold cloud and on-premise, I know a thing or two about the benefits of cloud solution. So let me just highlight a few of these benefits here. With a cloud solution, there's updates on a frequent basis, meaning you always have access to the latest and greatest software without having to perform manual installations. They're built and designed to grow alongside your business with the click of a button, not through buying and installing additional servers, having an IT team, spending months going through evaluations. It's quick and easy. Another benefit is that your data is often secure and protected on enterprise-grade servers, even if you're a single-person operation. And most of the good ones provide native integrations to different technology stacks that you may be using for your business. And those stacks allow you to grow and plug in new pieces of software as you continue to grow. And they also allow you to do customization through API access. And the best ones allow for and support our growth strategy number 4. So what's that growth strategy number 4? Automate everything. True automation. People are amazing. I love working with and interacting with people, but we make mistakes. This is especially true when we're performing repetitive and a lot of times uninteresting tasks. This is unavoidable, inescapable, and you as a business owner need to recognize this and think about this as you build out your strategy. So in the best case scenario, a person's manual error rate is somewhere, 5 to 10 mistakes for every 100 entries. On the high end, you could be as high as 30. You may be comfortable with 5, 10, 30, whatever the number is. However, if that error rate impacts your customers, I can assure you, as the business owner, you're going to be much less forgiving of your employees. You miss too many orders, you oversell, you don't have enough inventory counts aren't done accurately on too many occasions, and your customers will search for a business that can meet your needs every single time. There is just too much risk to your business. This business that you've put so much sweat, tears, and dollars into. So the ability to automate any repetitive task will result in enormous productivity gains, both upfront in speed of delivery and also longer term when it comes to not having to hunt down mistakes and correct them. Your accountant will be coming back to you to say what happened, inventory order numbers, cost of goods sold, revenue, completely off. Oh, sorry, that was Jimmy. He missed a line item here. And it screws everything up, wastes so much time and money, and most importantly, your time from doing the things that are more important for you. So when looking for operational systems that support automation, as a business owner, you should focus on whether or not they can deliver on one or more of the following things. The first is around ensuring that your inventory is updated in real time as orders come through the door or over the internet. This will help to ensure that you don't list items that you can't fulfill, which aligns your customers and sets their expectations. So they're not thinking they've purchased a product and you don't have the inventory available to actually fulfill that. The second is around syncing orders with your accounting system. That dreaded accounting word coming back to you. I know, it gives me the shivers as well. So anything you can do to avoid end of day, end of week reconciliations, errors that may arise through these reconciliations, this appropriate system from an automation perspective will help you remove this. You then get into the receiving of goods by scanning purchase order barcodes, instantly reflecting new stock in your inventory system, rather than performing manual receiving counts, or even automating parts of your fulfillment process by routing orders to warehouses located closest to that point of order, which ultimately saves you shipping costs. The possibilities for automation are literally limitless and endless when you think about your business. And both your staff and most importantly, your bottom line will thank you for truly making busy meaningful again. So this leads into our growth strategy number 5, which is one of the nearest and dearest to my heart. Make friends with data. I know this is not my nerdy accounting side coming out, but data is not your enemy. It doesn't have to be scary, overwhelming, or even a punch to the head. And now that you've got a modern cloud system that automates tasks across your supply chain, you can trust that it's collecting and aggregating all of your cold, hard data into a single source of truth from which to explore the inner workings of your organization. Still a little bit nervous? You shouldn't be. But if it does, you're at a loss for where to start, you don't know what to do, know that an ideal cloud commerce partner will work to make data your friend by providing pre-built reports and forecasts. Like this image on screen, a lot of these solutions come with pre-built reporting. That's one of the best parts of working with an innovative cloud solution, is that they're able to share specialized strategic learnings like forecasting optimal inventory levels by SKU and location to meet demand, and pass these learnings and capabilities on to other business owners. The ability to take advantage of purpose-built, out-of-the-box reporting and forecasting lets you examine your organization's data. A lot of merchants that I work with, they may think they have a strong understanding of their business, but some of these technology providers have thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of merchants, all who have a different way of thinking about their business. they leverage these learnings to provide these pre-canned reports to help you run your business more efficiently. And who doesn't like to have someone provide unique insights around your business, and all done in an effort to try to help you sell more and create the business you know and love? And being able to understand channel performance, under or overperforming SKUs, identify buyers who are late on payments, and even prevent you from over ordering, resulting in dead stock and costing you lots of dollars. And doing all of this without any need for even a data analyst makes this a truly invaluable growth strategy for you as a business owner. Data just isn't your friend. I fundamentally believe it's one of the most valuable assets to your business. So, without a doubt, these are the top 5 growth strategies you need to be thinking about as you look to digitally transform your business to truly set you and your team up for long-term success. Understanding your customer, where they're buying, how they're buying, experimenting with new sales channels to help you grow that revenue and get in front of those customers, while creating true scalability with the right tech solution and tech stack for your business, while automating everything and truly making friends with data, is how you're going to be successful. And again, be wary of shortcuts that promise instant return. Hard things are hard. And if you're truly going to grow your business, I always recommend that you re-examine the foundations of your business strategy and the tech systems that you've selected to support them. This is where a lot of the bottlenecks typically exist and will emerge. By identifying areas where you can streamline operations, identify efficiencies and iterative wins, you'll be able to allow your company to truly thrive in not only the current, but also setting yourself up for understanding the future market conditions as well. To recap, when selecting that technology partner to help you through this transformational stage in your company's growth, ensure that you're invested in helping your business succeed. There's a couple of key things to ask. Do they specialize in a specific area of business? Do they share some of the learnings that can help you grow and be a better operator? Are they constantly releasing new functionality? And do they offer you the flexibility to grow within your IT requirements? Like any good marriage, picking the right technology partner is key to long-term success of your business and driving happiness for your customers. So at this point, I want to end by saying, once again, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. And I really wish you all the success in the world with your business. Happy selling. At this point, I'll conclude the formal presentation and see if there's any questions. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to input them into the chat, and I will take a look and start to answer a few of them that are popping up here. So while we dive into and look for a few more, we've got our first question. They ask Cameron, how can we determine success or failure when trying a new sales channel? That's a very interesting question. Let me think about this. Here at TradeGecko, we try to embrace this experimental mindset, where you'll spend a significant amount of time thinking about the research and getting all of your notes around this. We'll then go into what is the hypothesis that we're actually trying to test here. So if I'm looking at, increasing my sales revenue through a new channel, what is my hypothesis? Do I think I can achieve 5% additional revenue through this sales channel? What is the specific target I have for that? And then we set the expected time frame upon which we want to look and see how that data and sales are happening. So we'll set the duration of the experiment. And then the final piece is, as you start to think about this, one of the key things that I've learned throughout this process is that you don't want to evaluate success. So whether that be, winning or failing in that channel too prematurely, you want to make sure that you're truly setting that duration and giving it the time to actually deliver the outcomes that you had originally thought. So it's all about the research, understanding your hypothesis and targets, and just setting the framework and time to let this experiment run. So another question here. So we're a B2C company that's continuing to scale and grow, and we're starting to get asked about wholesale. Great question. One of the things we see with a lot of our customers here at TradeGecko is scaling e-commerce brands. So they may have, developed an amazing, innovative new product that they've sold through an e-commerce channel. They then look to start maybe selling on different marketplaces to continue to accelerate that growth. And people start to recognize and see value in that brand. That's a lot of times where wholesale happens, or the request for different retailers around the globe to be reselling their product. This is a huge opportunity in terms of a revenue potential, because a lot of times what happens is you typically get lower order volume than your B2C, but the order value is significant and can be pretty meaningful for you in terms of increasing your revenue. So that is kind of the story around how that typically happens. But one of the biggest things is, going back to our growth strategy about finding the right technology partner. There's different ways to do this. A lot of people will tend to initially start by trying to manage wholesale orders manually. So this includes email, SMS, and I even include WhatsApp. I've heard people saying, oh, I've got a WhatsApp order. How do I make this happen? I would highly encourage you to look at B2B e-commerce platforms. The ability to sell at all times of the day, no need for manual entry of these orders, being able to customize the experience so that it's aligned to a B2C experience while offering the appropriate product catalog, pricing, and payment terms that B2B e-commerce merchants need will truly allow you to scale and make this an easy, seamless way to do wholesale. And hopefully you'll thank me when you do that. So that's it in terms of the questions. Anyone else that I didn't get a chance to answer will be reaching out to you directly over email. But once again, thank you so much for joining us, and look forward to the next opportunity of chatting with each and every one of you. Thank you.